up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of the Life Hack Podcast, Bite Size Wisdom. So, we just launched the first episode, and I had my 17-year-old son on, and I just absolutely love the episode. It just fills my heart. I, love the kids so much, and I'm so glad I got to share everything with you guys. So this episode is very special also because I have just, a person that's just as important to me. My wife, Katie. She's like the heart of our family. She shows incredible love, strength, and grace, and let's face it, everything that she does. And we have to admire her for being able to put up with me because, wow, I'm telling you, I can be crazy sometime. Lots of energy, lots of crazy runs, lots of push, go, go, go. I can't believe she does it, but that says definitely says something about her as a person. We're also, we're not only just going to talk about Katie. We're going to, talk about all the incredible women who've shaped our life, our moms, aunts, and, all the women who have supported and guided us along the way. Each of you have had such a profound impact, and I'm grateful for all your wisdom, the compassion, and the way that you just have always held, your families together. From, Katie taking on the role of, being a mother to Braden, to being just a constant source of understanding. Katie has shown me what it means to lead with love. So join us as we reflect on the importance of the women who make a difference every day and have for us, and the ways that they just help us become better versions of ourselves. This is A Heart Like Hers, honoring the women who hold us together. Thanks, guys, and I hope you enjoy. All right, let's get into it. I'd like to introduce to everybody my lovely, awesome, short little wife. She's been with me through a ton. We're 15 years down, a lifetime to go, and I couldn't be, prouder or happier than to spend it with you. So if you want to, introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about you and, what you get most enjoyment out of life.
Perfect. I am Katie. And Ethan and I have been together for 15 years, like he said, and we pretty much just like to have fun. So anything that we can do to make us feel good and happy and healthy, that is us. When I met Ethan, I would say that I wasn't like that. I was not very active, but he definitely brought that part out of me. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it wasn't like I gave you much of an option. I kind of always pushed it down. Sometimes we're still in that, I have to push you a lot harder. I'm very active. I have tons of energy. I have a whole different focus and outlook. So we're a lot different, but we're similar in so many ways because we know what it takes to get there and stay healthy and get life done.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
and I think that's one of the things. Have to mention you're an amazing mother.
Thank you.
You've always been to Braden, young. She met Braden. Braden was on the first episode of the podcast, and we talked a little bit about us growing up together, and what we went through. And Katie, you're such a big part of it.
Yes,
I met you.
yes.
I met you when Braden was 2 years old.
Yep, too.
You took the role on always, unwaveringly. It's something to be commended about, and you're great for doing everything that you've done.
Thank you. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, great mother, Hazley. Maybe let's talk about us having a kid, planning it out, and then even with COVID, we had Hazley during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, that was definitely a weird time to be in the hospital and actually be pregnant too. We spent a lot of time away from our friends and family because of what was going on, but I think that kind of brought us more together, I would say.
Yeah, right.
With you not having your job at the grist mill and me not even having Hazley yet, it was an eye-opener that stuff didn't really matter. We had each other.
The professional stuff.
Braden
right.
Going to school online was a lot different too, but I think that kind of helped us realize that even kind of what he was learning in public schools and stuff, he could learn himself, if
Yeah.
not better, and understand it better by himself and stuff like that.
And that
with
gives us a different outlook on what we do as parents, especially with like Hazley.
Oh, yeah,
because
definitely.
that
Yeah.
changed what we thought was able to be done with
Yeah.
school. So that's a big thing. A lot of the dynamic did change. I was not home a lot. I always overworked.
Yeah,
Every restaurant that I was at. So getting out of that, which, like I said the last episode, I thought the world was over.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
And I was, you remember us talking about how half of this is,
Yeah.
probably perpetuated,
Later,
and made,
dramatic.
overly dramatic and everything like that. But we never didn't take it serious,
Right.
and some of those were our faults.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Keeping them away from some family members and everything like that,
Yes.
and changing certain certain dynamics with our family.
Oh, yeah.
So
that was difficult, but we
Yeah.
had to do what we.
But
had
we
to do.
planned Hazley out.
Yeah.
Hazley was a planned. We planned her out very well.
Yes.
Once we got into this house, we talked. We kind of talked about what we wanted next, and we spent that 5 years.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Doing all that.
Yeah.
So we're blessed to have what we have, and it's been a journey, and our dynamics. It's changed, and we're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we are.
Especially now. So let's take a few minutes to talk about some of the remarkable women that we know, and so some of them that we've lost, and we have you're lucky to have a lot of the loved ones around you,
Yes.
and the women in your life, so you have a good relationship with everybody. So is there any other women that you would want to mention other than like the few like other than like your mom and like your grandma and stuff like that?
I would say too, kind of going back to like the ones that we've lost,
Yeah.
Aunt Gay and your mom.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like how much they impacted like who you are and like how you became who you were, like
Yeah.
because of them. After your mom passed, I took on the role of like meeting with your Aunt Gay and stuff like that, and having lunch with her, and like to have the opportunity to be that person for her was truly great. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it was also an eye-opener to let me know that like spending time with your family is a lot more important than the simple things that don't matter.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of
Especially
brought it
after
back.
loss.
Yeah,
After loss, that's important to you, because you never thought, it's good to have those memories, and you never thought what would happen
No.
so especially so fast.
Especially, yeah. And I just remember like the last time when your mom and Aunt Gay came into Jody's, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But like I always knew that they were both the real ones. Like they were both like there. Like you knew that you were okay if you knew that they were with you and like on your side. And like I still feel like they are, just in a different way.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
definitely like
Absolutely.
made me realize how important it is to like be the nurturing mother to like the kids, and like helping Braden like grow up to be who he is. But
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Stepping into that role, you get the attributes from them. You get you see how they step up in everyday life. Just like you're talking with my mom, always caring. We talked about this last episode about how that really pushed me into, more about it than anybody, but it pushed me into the direction of where I thought I needed to go in the vision of where my mom would want me to be,
right.
and like what my mom would want me to be doing. And was it bending over backwards for people that I was miserable working for? No. And with COVID and all the stuff that changed, and even losing my mom, that built me, and I came out even stronger.
Oh yeah.
So it was hard, of course, but I did stay somewhat strong for everybody, as much as I could. But it was such a hit to me that all I could do is sink or really like carry on the legacy.
Like her legacy.
Yeah. And
definitely.
just like with Aunt Gay, we've even talked about, you're the first person that I even said anything to about this, is putting that care, just like how Gay was, putting that care into everything that I do. Yeah. So not only do I have the trait, from my mom of always making sure that everybody's okay and listening and, being there, but now I have, I want my everyday to be more compassionate
Yes.
For Aunt Gay, because
Yeah.
that's exactly how she was, and she always cared so much about so many people.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk about a couple other people on your side because you know them better, but we're just talking about this the other day, but we're talking about your grandma.
Oh yeah.
And how I didn't ever have a grandmother. My mom's mom passed away when she was young, and then when I was a baby, my grandma passed away, and I never had anybody like that. And your grandma, seeing both of your grandmas, both of your, Barbara and Frances, they're both just remarkable women, and you've had a long lasting relationship with them because how old is Barbara?
She just turned 90.
She just turned 90, so we just celebrated her
90th birthday.
So and what was the one that we went up there before?
That's my grandma Frances, and she just turned 89. No, I think she might be 92.
Yeah, so
90
so anyway, so
very close in age. Yeah.
Those women are so important to everybody, and they're so
great.
Barbara and Frances are a lot different.
Yes.
But the impact that they've had are about the same.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So they're great. They're great.
Gosh.
Yeah, your well, both of them are just awesome women, and you've taken a lot from them.
Yeah.
Just like how you carry yourself, because I notice it more than you do.
Yeah.
But they're remarkable.
Yeah.
It's so nice to see them 90 years old.
Grandma Barbara's my fancy grandma, if you want to know that.
Yeah, your fancy grandma. She's awesome.
She's the...
Yeah, you tell them a little bit more about them.
She's great.
Yeah, Barbara, do you tell them
she's the fancy one. She is the best at just like being so kind and just like so great understanding and just always has a smile on her face, and she's so great.
Yeah. And Frances is
the goofy, silly, just full of life.
They're different,
but like still like super great and like silly.
Well, Barbara's more serious, and,
yes,
and she's a great woman, always has a smile on her face. But Frances is putting she puts a smile on everybody's face.
Yes, she
everybody's
does.
face.
Yes,
they're great.
So
your mom is a wonderful. Your mom is great. She always helps us out with Paisley as much as she can.
Oh my gosh.
She always, everybody that knows her, all the grandkids, everybody, everybody. That's her life. Yeah, kids are her life, and she doesn't do it for a lot. Her job, she doesn't get paid that good where she is at. I don't really care to let that out of the bag because everybody doesn't. It doesn't really matter. It's crazy that she'll do it. Yeah. Well, and it's crazy that she'll still do that stuff even though she doesn't get paid well for
and
it.
We're all grown and out of the house and stuff like that. It's like you think you'd run a break from that. Nope. My mom's like, I'm just watching only 6 today. It's like, well, you're watching 6 kids, like.
Yeah.
So all the grandkids come over for a week. Every summer she does that. Tony's kids all come into town and they get to stay with grandma for a week, and I'm like, you're crazy. It's like. I could get out of work and be like, okay, I'm going to see the kids, and then I'm only there for a couple hours, and that's enough. But she's a saint. So is my dad. Women are, they've always been such an important part of like my life and shaping me. You know that, not to take anything away from the men, in my life, but the what they've shown me, it's like they're such realistic attitudes. They're so no matter what they go through, they still are strong. They've dealt with it all. I'm just trying to think of a few more women that I can think of. I can think of a ton of women. I can think of a ton of women to mention. I did, growing up, I was so close to so many women, and I always, I couldn't believe how much they cared for me too. A lot of these people, there was a lot of people, Claire, mom's good friends, and she was always there. So she was always great. We always had a great time with her.
Always
I thought that
spent.
was so cool that you guys got to have sleepovers.
Oh
at
yeah,
their
we
house and
spent
stuff like
we spent
that.
time there.
Watching the new
Spent time
movies.
a little bit. Yeah, and they always had like cutting edge stuff too, like a movie theater and stuff. We had a lot of influential, strong influential women,
Oh, yeah.
growing up. So we're lucky to have that. You're lucky to have the lasting relationships that you are,
Yeah.
because everybody's healthy, everybody's feeling good, everything is good, and having grandma's 90.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just
so.
like that's a blessing. That
Yeah.
is very...
But yeah, there's a few people that have been moms, like somewhat moms to me too.
Mhm.
Like I really felt like they put a lot into it, like Lynn.
Yeah.
Lynn,
always.
Lynn Norkey
Mhm.
is one of those people that I still stop over because they're she's always
important.
she's important to me.
Her and Ted,
Her and Ted. Ted was very important to me. I always growing up seeing people accepting like them.
Yeah.
We had such a blast. Morgan was always great growing up with Nate.
Oh, yeah.
Nate and Morgan growing up with them. We've known them for such a long time. But after the loss that she's had, with Nate, and she's always held herself, together.
Yes.
And
Stay
it's
positive.
such a remarkable woman. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's,
Yeah.
we're not all any perfect, but the care and the love that some people put out, it's just one of those,
Amazing things.
one of those people, I would have to say Linda.
Yep.
Linda, a very structured woman, a person that, I was good friends with her oldest son, or her son, middle child, Nate, and he passed away.
Mhm.
Lost a battle with mental health. I miss him a ton. She's always done it all alone, and she's always worked. She's always worked. She did whatever she could.
To
Could
take care
all
of
the
them both
time.
and-
She had to work, and single mother. I always commended her for that. I always understood,
Right.
everything. Not being around a lot. Sometimes
yeah.
because
But
work
knowing
and
that
everything.
she was getting things done and
And
taking care of her.
I have a lot of respect for her. We have very similar. We talk about politics. I mean, every time I've talked to her, we talk about politics. So we have such. We're very. Our ideologies align.
There you go.
And
Yes.
she's
Yep.
a great
She's a great
woman,
woman.
and through the hardships of everything that's happened, she's, even though it's hard, and I couldn't imagine dealing with that,
Yeah.
she's always been so good to me.
Mhm.
And I haven't been over there for a little bit. The unfortunate part about a relationship, because some people waver from it.
Right.
The relationship that I had a little bit, but she will never waver
No,
from that.
no.
And she's a great woman for that, and she will always look at me like a person that was always there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I was always there.
Yeah.
Especially for what she's
Oh yeah.
gone through.
Oh
So.
definitely.
So anyway, we'll change the subject. That was great to talk about the few women. I could name so
Oh
many.
yeah, so many people.
I could
Our
know.
list could go
Yeah, I was just
on,
gonna
so-
say I could name so many, but we won't touch on everybody that influenced us, the powerful women, because I'm surrounded by them.
Oh yeah.
I have tons of great people that I'm surrounded by. All the women in my life, my
I
customers.
was just gonna say.
I have
they've all
crazy. It's
impacted-
crazy. Like my customers like get on such
Mhm.
a personal level, and like I'm friends with these.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and all these powerful, great women.
Yeah.
In good
Yeah,
really
good
great positions,
that are very-
and they know what it's about, like
Yeah.
the family
yeah,
stuff,
the
and
family,
they always know, and
jobs.
that's all they care about, and it's so nice to see what's.
I
in
think
there.
it's really cool to see all the different personalities of all
Yeah.
the ladies of the families that you cook for too. It's really nice to see like
Yeah.
they're all,
All
different,
different.
but they're all so cool and
Yeah.
down to earth. And I'm like,
And
this is
it's all the same capacity
Yeah.
too. They
it's
just
the family,
yeah.
the working, and
Yeah.
taking.
They're
care
all
of
different.
things. Yeah,
Exactly.
but
They're all so much different parts of life,
Yep.
younger or older and whatever. But they're just all laser focused. Yeah, and it's great to
mindsets.
see. So all right, well, let's talk about something a little bit different, and let's talk about a little bit about what's changed in your life recently. So you had a big change.
Yes.
You had a very big change in life, and that started with your boss pretty quickly announcing that he was going to be closing the place, Jody's, that you've worked at for 15 years.
Yep.
And they were open for 44 years.
Yes.
So it was a pretty sudden close. Like, you know, you close, boom.
Mm-hmm.
It was like nothing. It was crazy.
Just a couple months.
Yeah, that was crazy how fast that happened. And it's all started with like rumors or talk of the town. So how have you been adjusting? Like, what's, you know, it's been a lot, and I know, but
it's a very different feeling. I feel like I'm like missing something, but I'm like, I think what I was missing was more of the family time and the time at home. Jody's kind of became my life the last part of the week, and I think I took it not too serious, but kind of make myself
too
like
serious.
Too serious. I think that I have made myself realize that yes, it was an important part of my life because I was there and I did a lot there, but coming home and bringing Jody's with me was really hard, and it was something that I had to get over.
Yeah.
And after my last day, I'm like, you know what? I think that's going to be it. That I have to keep that attitude and that mindset at Jody's. I don't need it.
Yeah, it wasn't, I wouldn't say that was like your fault or like anything that you were doing, but it's so hard to stay away from that when you get sucked into people with like toxic attitudes.
Yes.
So toxic negative attitudes are like
exactly
one thing that's like, I'm sure it's like kind of a relief somewhat.
It is very
but
true.
at the same time,
but
you
it's
know,
also like, I'm like, what the heck?
15 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're stepping kind of into new roles now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're doing a little bit more like at home and like things different, you know, you're helping me out with whatever I need, you know, some of the preps and, you know, whatever I need you for, so we can speed the process up of what I do every day. So it's been really cool, you know, being with you. It's probably a little difficult being with me because of how I can be about certain things, but but you know, in a certain sense, it's a great thing to step away from something that's so normal to go into something so different. You know,
way different.
And what's been the most challenging thing for you, like being with me or just like changing? Like, what's been the most difficult thing?
I think it's just like not like having that like routine, like on Wednesday night, Thursday morning I'm going to Jody's. Like it's so crazy to like think that like I was getting like stressed out like because I had to go to Jody's. It's just like it's just a job, like, you know, like I can't like let that like, you know, like control everything. It's so nice to like look at the clock and be like, oh, I don't have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I can like chill and enjoy
Katie used to
time
get to work at 5 o'clock, and she would work from 5 to 3 for 4 days a week every week, just so the restaurant functioned properly, because they couldn't have done it without her. That's for sure. So what's most challenging about not more like what's most challenging, maybe not in that sense, but maybe like working with me in a different capacity,
like kind of like understanding like your schedule and like leaving like later in the morning. I'm like, are we like, is this like right? Are we...
Well, we can't show up at customers' houses at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right, exactly. But it's just like, I'm like, what? And then you're like, yeah, maybe let's stop here and get a slice of pizza or something like on the way there. And I'm like, this is like not normal.
Well,
like,
yeah, when you're running
car
around, driving around all day, you know, you find ins and outs, and sometimes a slice of pizza, you know, is, you know, comes in. Yeah.
But it's just it's a very different routine. But I know that I'll get used to it because it's more relaxed and more chill and less.
Well, you make really good food. You make way better food quality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do basically the same thing. You know, with helping, and you get to listen to good music all day with me
nice.
And hang out with my husband, or your husband. Your husband, you get to hang out with your husband. And
kind of a good thing. No, I'm just kidding. So, of course.
It's nice,
and it was nice that we got to bring Hazley the other day too. That was very cool.
And we get to bring Hazley to, which people are probably like, whoa, that's mind blowing. But yeah, we get to bring Hazley to, like, if I need to bring her with me or both of them with me. that's
We're
the
there.
freedom, that's a
And
good
then we have Braden.
I have a
that
good
if
job.
If we need backup, we got
I have
Braden.
I have a pretty good gig going on,
I think
don't I?
so.
Yeah,
Claire.
so
Claire.
yeah, Claire's awesome.
Yeah,
we talked
we
about
talked about
that.
Claire.
She's so good for Braden.
Yeah, I know.
We got so lucky.
Yeah, they're
But
really
yeah,
cute.
we got both of them, and it's like
Mhm.
if we need them to be watching them, they're gonna be out of school soon.
Yeah, I know.
Like this,
Just a couple months
Braden
for
will
Braden.
even be helping me. Things are gonna be. It's gonna be. We've created it good. We've really created. So, I would say most challenging. I would say the change with me is that
Yeah.
a lot of the changes. Like it's crazy to not have you worry about that
Yeah.
because I remember how some people were making you feel.
Yep.
And I just I'm so glad that you're home and not having to deal with that.
Yeah, I'm very
And then
glad
helping me, it's so nice because it's like I like you. I don't
you
like
do.
a lot of some people. It's like I cannot ever work with some
Someone for
people.
the-
It's challenging in a certain way because it's like I'm critical.
Yeah.
I'm a very critical person, and it's
Mhm.
like I'm not like too bad. It's
No,
just
but
it's just like certain things.
that's
It's like,
just-
but it's like you had to. Sometimes you're like, oh, that's. It's like we're working together now. It's like it's not just me and like my husband right,
Right.
now. It's like
Yeah.
we're at a job, so it's like everything that's said has to be is like a little bit taken differently sometimes. And we have to like clear that up. That's maybe the most challenging for me because I don't ever have to like people know when they're working with me at a capacity. It's all just me being like the person in charge.
Right. So
And
they
it's
know
like
that
you're
they
my
can
wife, so
understand.
it's like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, oh, I was kind of like I could have been like shitty,
Right.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, I didn't like mean to say it. I just like that's how it comes
But
out.
that's
of
your.
my mouth.
That's the.
That's how I am, just because
the
of the
leadership
restaurant.
and the
Yeah,
powerful, Like,
yeah, and
Mindset.
being in that
Yeah.
that realm, and being in management positions and everything like that. So it's like sometimes I'm like, oh shit.
Right,
I
it's
look
like
at you and I'm like, oh no. Was I like rash? Like,
right.
I'm like, was I just irrational as could be, or whatever? But I think that's the most challenging part, which we'll get over. We'll understand
yeah.
each other more, especially dealing with each other so much. So it's gonna change, and it's whatever capacity it is.
I feel like
what
we
we
always
get
get
to.
back into the groove of things. We had different
Yeah.
schedules even when we like first met and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
everything
I work
change.
days,
Things
work
change.
nights,
Things
and-
change, and we always get up with everything. So, all right. So, family dynamics.
Mhm.
So, how do we balance it? So, we juggle so much. You're an amazing mom, managing everything. At home, of course.
Mhm.
How do we find balance, and what keeps you grounded?
You. I think that, I think that
Well, I hope so,
probably
anyway.
wouldn't be like that if it wasn't for you. You definitely help us understand that even though we do have the kids, we do have to take care of work and like bills and stuff like that, we also have to find time for ourselves. I think that that's always been like a big part of like you and like us as like as a relationship. I know a lot of
With every
people that don't spend a lot of time with their spouses, and like to me I think it's kind of weird, but then I'm like, well, no, sometimes that gets lost in the
Because
mix
like
of things,
every
and as
every day,
years-
every day I definitely push to like do physical
Yep.
stuff.
a
Running.
workout,
You're running and
or just
everything.
walking, or like sometimes we'll be chatting too much, and we're like, oh, okay, well, at least we spent that time together.
Yeah.
Just to like catch up and like communicate with each other and like let each other know
Talk.
like what's going on, how we're feeling.
Talk.
I think communication, you've really helped me like
Yeah.
understand things and like know that like if I need to say something or if something's wrong, it's like say it and we'll fix it, and
Yeah.
we can do that. And I definitely appreciate that. It's just like we always find time for ourselves.
Right.
And I think that that's where
That's huge.
people
You're right.
have lost their relationships.
We have always found there's a lot of, I see it a lot, and I see like, oh, they don't even know. Like a lot of people don't even like know the person that they're with.
Yeah.
So and I see it with some relationships, people that I'm close with, like how their relationships are and like the dynamic of the relationship, and finding that time always with you, working out and
Mhm.
like talking,
We've always
communicating and just sitting down that little bit of time and just talking about stuff or going for a walk or even a
Yeah.
run. It's such a, you know, communication's so profound in this day and age because everybody's lost and everything else.
Yep.
You know, and having that time and always making it, you know, that's always been our thing. Everybody that knows me knows like you know,
Yeah.
running and everything. It's like
Longboarding.
you've always been
Yeah.
with me through it,
Mhm.
and that's, you know, I think that's how we find a lot of our, you know, a lot of our
Balances,
balance. And I think that, you know, that has a lot to do with it. It's
Yeah.
never making excuses. Like
No.
we're out and we're just out, you know,
Yeah, we
before
ran
this
today.
podcast where it was snowy, you know, a lot of snow.
Thick snow, yeah.
Thick snow. We're running the White Pine Trail and it's all snow and it's, snowmobile tracks.
Yeah.
And we're you know, running 3 miles out there and you know, it's cold. I ran last night too, so it's
Yeah.
like I ran last night, and it's like we always make sure that we get what we need to get in.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like even when it's cold and snowy and wet,
We know that it'll
yeah.
be worth
Other
it.
than thunderstorms, that's the only thing
We
that
don't
we
do
don't do.
that.
Thunderstorms, but blizzards and stuff, we've done
Yeah.
it all. So I think that's the balance that we find. You know, I
So
think
too.
that's it.
That's it.
So let's talk about strength during loss, because you know we touched on that a little bit with, you know, the couple people,
Yeah.
you know, my mom, you know, Aunt Gay. We faced some really tough losses. Some, you know, not as recent. Some recently,
Yeah.
which are really recent, which is, you know, awful and devastating to me. I've been pretty bad down in the dumps about it. It's been hard. You know, influential woman like Aunt Gay that's a devastating
Sad.
loss.
It's
Very.
sad.
But how has that changed your perspective on life and the way that we approach family?
Just like I had talked about earlier, like you don't like realize like how much those people like kind of mold you into the person you are, just like Ethan was saying, like with how his mom and Aunt Gay and like having all those important women in your life, you kind of get to understand like the deeper meaning of life and like what it's about. You know, you always thinking like growing up that you needed all these cool things and stuff like that, but it's really that you just need family, and unfortunately we're not around forever, and
Yeah.
time doesn't waste for anyone. And I think that that's where we've come to realize that we don't have time to waste.
Yeah, we don't have time to waste. You're right, and
Our family is very important.
Yep. And that's all. I think that's all. Like, I think that's all we've focused on.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, I have a lot of people I talk to. You know, so many. Well, I talk to so many people because when I'm, you know, I'm in wellness, so it's like, you know how my life is.
Yes.
It's like I get hit up by people, you know, that I've known for years, and they message me about how they need to get their stuff balanced.
Hey,
you
can
know.
you help me, or what
Yeah,
should I
and
do?
a lot of that, they need to focus on their families.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like experiencing loss, you know, especially those key figures. You know?
At such a young age, yeah.
Yeah,
Like especially
key figures. You know,
even like Uncle Paul. Like
Uncle Paul. You know, Uncle Paul. Oh my God! But don't even. And Uncle Paul was just and seeing I lost my Uncle Bob.
Yep.
You know, all these influential people, and I've seen the reaction from the families. So it's like, and what it is like, and the come together stuff, what people are talking about, and it's just like, I've always wanted to like my life is based around if something happens to me, what all the good stuff that people are going to want to say.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing to me.
Yeah,
you know, that's a
definitely.
big thing. Maybe that sounds it's like selfish, but it's just
No.
like I want people, like I want those memories, and that's why I spend time. You know, that's why I spend the time with the kids, and I've always spent the time putting my family first.
Oh yeah.
You know, just like Braden, it's like look at what Braden overcame
Oh my.
to become that, and that's all because experiencing those things together. And I'm like, oh, dude, this is really important.
Yeah.
Losing these people, really important. Really, this is really important. And then losing, like my mom, it's like, oh my God, it's
Like,
so
what?
important to
Yeah.
spend time with your family and all this. You know, it's just it gets hard. You know,
But you
and
have your family.
yeah, and I have you guys, and you
But
guys
it's
are
still-
everything, and this is, and you know how I am. You know how we are. You
Mhm.
know how I am. You know, with family, and
yeah.
we've always created. knew what we wanted to create.
Yeah.
And it's like something that we may not have had in our childhood.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like not saying nobody did a good job, but it's just
Right.
like things that we didn't have. It's just like me and my son and me and my dad, such a different,
Relationship,
different relationship. And it's like, I learned, and that's what we do. We learn from people. And it's like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
You know, and through a loss, it becomes eye opener.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody spend more time with your family and put grievances aside, because you're gonna wonder why you ever were held up on that stuff, because you might think of all these bad things and that, like, what messes with your relationship, but when they're gone, you're going to think about all the good things and all the good times. And even if things were, you know, some things got bad with certain relationships, all you're going to think about is the good stuff and how you just miss them.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
how what impact they did make.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So all right, well, let's move on. Supporting each other. What's one way we've been able to support each other during these tough times, and what's something that you've learned about yourself in the process?
Supporting each other. We have always been that way with each other, but I think definitely through those times.
Conversations. I think we touched on this pretty good.
Yeah, like you pretty much like we know that like we have to like care for each other, and like we have to make sure that we're like there for each other emotionally. You don't want to fall short of that, because you kind of get too deep into it.
You don't want people to get to you. Yeah.
So you just have to know that when people are going through tough times, like
talk.
Don't push their buttons.
Yeah.
Like, understand that they can feel the way that they want to feel, because they're human and they're going through a tough time. And it's just like, we shouldn't ever take that for granted, because like we had said, family,
exactly.
You never know.
I absolutely love to be able to talk and vent to you about even things that you don't care about or what you don't get. But
I love it.
I think that's supporting each other in general. You know, how we're able to support each other is being able to listen to all the shit that you don't understand sometimes, you know, politics and all the or bitching about some dumb stuff at work. Being there and just listening, being able to just it's like growing up, it feels like nobody wanted to listen to me, and then I found somebody that actually, like, 15 years, like, you've been listening.
That's where it all began.
You know what I mean? So
Tony's basement.
We talking and we talk, and we actually fell in love with each other for the people that we wanted to be. More
definitely.
Like what we wanted, like where we wanted, like all these people get caught up. It's like we wanted so much when we were so young, and the stuff that we talked about even when we're like fucking losers. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about stuff that was like where we're gonna get and like what we want, like in even a partner. And it's like, it's crazy to think even our first conversation that we had, it was talking about that, like, you know, those things. So I'm just glad that we're able to talk, and it's lovely being able to talk to you for all this time. You know,
I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah, don't cry, please. But it's awesome. So I think that's one way that we've supported each other, is just listening and doing what we've needed to do, even though people sometimes throw shade on the relationships because they don't get it. You know, spending time together and creating what we've created. There's so many people that you're unhappy because you haven't created. You're not thinking about creating something like this. So many people. There's so many people that we've grown up with. It's like you're focused on this, and you're supposed to be focused on creating something like this. You're supposed to be not an echo chamber. It's an ecosystem. You know, it's not you want to create, like, look at how different everybody is, and it's like how Braden is, how Hazley is. It's like, and look at what ecosystem we're creating. All these people want to be in this little box, and if any of those ideas run out of that box, they can't handle it. And you see it all these people that I've grown up with, you know, well, you know, I'm not going to be like,
Right.
I'm not going to like bash
No,
people,
but-
but you've dealt with the same
Yes.
thing. It's just like
Yeah.
you have a few okay friends. I
Yeah.
barely, it feels like I have some good friends
Yeah.
and undying friends
Yeah.
that I met recently,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
somewhat recently.
Yeah.
These people, and I'm like, these guys, I'm like, there's some guys out there, some of my friends out there that would fight to the death for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I've met these people in the last,
Right.
5,
Yep.
7 years, and these people, a lot of the people I grew up with, it's like I love these people, I care so much about these people, but they don't care. They don't care at all,
Yeah.
because they care about their echo chamber
Right.
and the what they think of certain like
Right.
political parties and,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And it's just
Well,
like
that
I
doesn't
care
matter.
about all these people so much.
Right.
I and I care about these people so much, and I just see that what they're focusing on.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I see why you're not happy.
Exactly.
And they
Or why
blame
you
they blame this and that and this and that. It's like we see you posted on Facebook the same stuff.
Yeah.
We see you having the same problems and bitching about the same things and not doing anything about it and making excuses why you can't. Your past trauma,
Mhm.
your past whatever you've dealt with in your life. But you just can't, you have to get over it, and you have to start creating what
Yeah, and
something
you have
like
to
we
you
do.
have to start
Push it.
thinking about the distractions, the
yeah
things that don't matter.
Yeah.
Remember in Braden's episode, he was saying that, which actually really brought to my attention. Like, don't matter about the stuff around you or like what other people are going through. You need to focus on yourself and your family, because that's what's most important. You don't care how other people are posting
people
stuff
think they're
online.
getting all
It's
the
like-
stuff online, right? People will talk about politics and stuff. They'll talk about all kinds of like politics stuff, and you see them posting all these days, and then you're like, I know what kind of like miserable people they are
Right.
when you do like when you do that.
Right.
So it's like I know what kind of miserable people are out there talking about the same stuff, and all they should be focusing on is one thing, and it's like usually family,
Family.
kids,
Love
all
for
this
your
stuff.
family
So
and your
so
spouse.
thanks for listening, Katie. I just have to say thanks for supporting me, and
No
and thank
problem.
you for helping me create something that actually matters, because you see these people, they think a college degree or hanging out and drinking with their friends and having a job that they probably, or trying to get a job that they probably won't. It's like people think about all the least important things to them, and they
Yeah.
wonder why they're not happy.
Exactly. Neither one of us went to school, by the way.
Yeah, and it's crazy that we've been in our house for almost a decade.
Yeah, This,
and
this summer.
we've accomplished quite a bit, especially compared to a lot of the people that were like kind of talking down on us for like trying to start a
Yeah.
more of a traditional
Mhm.
setting, like a
Yep.
family and everything like that. So I don't know,
I
but
think every step of
we're
our
a
relationship
testament.
people
Yeah,
were questioning, but it's just like we knew,
yeah.
and we knew what
And
we
nothing was
wanted.
perfect,
And
shit
we
shit
went
got
through-
rocky. I went through I've went through so much.
Yeah.
We've all gone through it, and it's like we've came out a lot better.
Yeah.
And we've created a lot. So all right, so parenting and family bonding, this is great because this goes right into what we've talked about.
Mhm.
What's a moment as a mom where you felt especially proud of how you've handled things?
Wow. Whew. That goes deep. I would say with Hazley,
Yep.
you don't really understand how much they listen until they talk to you. And you're like, what the heck? The other day I was talking to Hazley, well, multiple times, and her thing is she's just like, people just don't get it. She's just like, you just need to be happy. Like, I think I was sad at one point, and she's just like, Mom, where's your smile? I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, you just look different. Well, today we got back from our run, and she looked at me and she goes, Mom, she's like, you look different. I go, what do you mean? She goes, she's
Happy.
like, you're smiling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. She goes, yesterday you were sad. She was just like, so I'm happy to see you smile. She's like, I wish I was feeling better, but I'm gonna take a nap. And I'm like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? She just like almost made
Yeah,
me start
right,
crying
right.
before I left her to take a nap. And it's because they notice how you're feeling. They're like sponges. They take in everything that you're feeling, how you're feeling, and I think that goes back to more of like the family and bonding thing that we were just talking about. It's just like so many people are disconnected with their kids and their family life because they're working too much, and I know you need to work to pay bills,
It's
but
because
it's
of
just
social
like,
media.
but
Most
That's what I
people
was just
are.
gonna say.
Realistically, everybody's like, yeah, I
People
work
are
so hard. It's like, and then you spend the rest of your time doing
on your
everything
phone or
else,
something.
not doing what you're like supposed to do. And it's just like, social media and everything is okay to do and like scroll and do what you need to do for sure. But it's just like,
That's not what
yeah, that's
life's about.
that's not what it's about.
That's not what it's about.
It's not what it's about.
It's just like, go color a picture with your daughter. She'll remember it for the rest of the day. You
Yeah.
know, or go take her to grandma's or something while you guys have a day date. It's just
Yeah.
like little things like that. You have to understand. That's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, for sure.
being with each other and spending time with each other is way more important than
Yeah.
being on your phone.
One thing that I would say, how you've handled things, like I think you don't give yourself enough credit for how you handle things and like what you've been able to accomplish. I think that's a thing for like most mothers.
Yeah.
You
I
know
think
that
so,
like
too.
you'll whatever it is, you know, you'll get down on yourself because your daughter's not like this or that. But
Right.
I think you've handled things pretty graciously because after it's like, you know, then the next thing you know, whatever bothered you is fixed.
Yeah.
You know, like anything,
yeah.
you know, and with, you know, growing up with Hazley, even growing up, you know, with Braden,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
taking
definitely.
on the role as, you know, his mom.
Yeah.
Um,
At 23.
yeah, exactly.
So-
And I've been, and you know, you've always been great. You know, you've always been great with Braden.
Mhm.
You've always been there for Braden.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, proud of you is like my daily thing. Like I'm so, you know, I'm happy, you know,
Yeah.
I'm happy with how things are, and it's just like how you handle things, no matter what, or no matter how I'm feeling when I'm exhausted or whatever. You know, moms do, you guys do just it's like, you know, men can't do it without you guys. You know, I couldn't do well. You know, I couldn't do nothing without you. You know,
Thank you.
and you know,
I appreciate
you know I just think that like I change everything changed how I look at you and how I like feel about you when we had Hazley.
Yeah,
You know, and
so
it's
too,
like
yeah.
and just like the everything and doing whatever it takes to, you know.
Watching you become a girl dad was super awesome too, because I was like,
I
wow,
bet.
like having another little woman in the house was kind of like what, but oh my gosh, you guys are adorable together.
I love
Like
it.
she has
Such a
you-
well from me and Braden.
Right. Yeah.
Well, like the
Oh, yeah.
dynamic for me
Oh,
and
yeah.
Braden. It's just like
Mhm.
I've always loved and care about Braden, but it's
But like seeing you with like the nurturing, like
Yeah.
the caring, I'm like what,
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
You
Braden,
really have Braden.
I raised Braden to be like me, like
Right.
no loose focus, no
Yes.
nothing. Like
The
he didn't get
determination,
any
commitment,
slack.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Braden didn't get any slack. Like I told him, like he would get upset about like football or something and be like, yeah, because you're not practicing hard
Yep.
enough. You're not doing this.
Homework
So
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
and
the
it's
same
like
way,
yeah, and it's like all those
emotional
all that's, you know, he would tell me, oh, this and that I didn't submit it. That's a bullshit excuse.
But look at him now.
Yeah, but
It's
no,
like-
but that's it's so I bet you it was a big change
Yeah.
to see me with
Oh yeah.
her.
And I got
you
to
know.
see like him emotionally change too, because of like how, like me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like was that too much? And I was like, no. And I was like, oh, the next week, you know, he's getting better grades, turning stuff in, and like having more respect for like what he does. You know, like
With
who he is.
and with like how Hazley's changed so much, and like, you know, she takes on the personality traits of both of us.
yeah.
It's yeah, but it's so cool to see how
Yeah.
you're able to just handle those things
Oh yeah, definitely.
and do it.
right.
You know, even
yeah.
though it gets stressful. You know,
Yeah.
we're you know, it's
She's a little Sour Patch Kid, but you know,
Yeah.
like she.
oh no,
she's a
she's
strong.
she's awesome.
Woman
She's
too.
awesome. Oh, she's gonna be.
She's smart.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun raising her, and watch out, everybody, because she's gonna take down the world. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, she's gonna be
She
on
is one
top of
strong
it.
lady,
I'm telling
that's
you,
for sure.
she's oh my god, and smart as can
Mhm.
be. I'm like oh no. I'm like oh
Why do you
no.
remember those things?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what?
Well, I'm super proud of you as a mother, especially.
Oh,
You
thank
know,
you.
that's I always knew how you were gonna be because of how you were with Braden, but after us having a baby, you know,
Yeah.
it's just
It's a lot
you know,
different.
so. Teaching resilience after everything that we've been through, how do you hope, or what do you hope our kids learn from the challenges that we've faced as a family?
I think that they're probably going to be more of having like a positive outlook and like a happier mindset when it comes to going through tough times, or like just like doing things in general as a family, and understanding that like being a
Yeah.
family and like who we are all together is like really what helps you through.
They've really been through it
Yes.
too. Like not Hazley, not so much, but
But
Braden's
Braden,
been through it.
yeah.
You know, I just hope no matter like what, basically no matter what it like takes, they'll just like do what they need to do.
Oh yeah, totally
It's just
agree with you.
like we have.
Yeah.
That's
What we've grown and what we've
what we've done.
accomplished
So
and-
we were so much different.
Yeah.
Like what we've done.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
We've been
going through
through
it all, it's
Yep.
crazy. So, I just, I hope no matter what, they do what they need to do to always be in that mindset.
Yes.
And Braden's already
Yeah,
that
he's
way,
doing
and
a
I
great
think
job of that.
this is good, especially seeing the age difference. Hazley's on that right track.
Oh yeah.
She was way better than Braden was at his age,
Yep.
and it's like I can't imagine how she's going to be.
Oh jeez.
So,
Watch out.
looking ahead, future goals. As we navigate these big changes together,
Mhm.
with you leaving Jody's, taking on a kind of a different role and more focused and family,
Yeah.
enthused goal. What do you like? What I would say. Hang on, before as we navigate these big changes together. What's one thing that you're excited for us to accomplish as a family?
Just everything in general as a family. I think that throughout our years of being together, we kind of had different schedules and stuff like that, and our lifestyles kind of changed when we figured out that like being with the kids and stuff is way more important than like spending time like doing things separately or like not together. We've always found time for ourselves but with our kids, and I think that doing everything in life and in the future, I think that being a family is what's most important. I think
Yeah.
that that's going to help us
Especially
succeed.
Yeah, with me, big business ideas. I
Mhm.
want you guys to be part of that business growth.
Right.
And being, with Braden, doing his personal training stuff and like being focused on that and maybe taking over my preps, sometime in the near future. I think, with all of you guys, with Hazley growing up with she even comes with us sometimes, like
Yep.
we've mentioned before. I think she's going to be right in the middle of it. And that's, for me, the big one, moving on is
Yeah.
growing a business with you guys, making
I
sure
think
that
that that's
everything.
gonna
So now, now that you're not at Jody's, like I'd say like what's something that you've always dreamed of that you want to do that you can more feel like you can do now?
kind of just like be present and like just like be a part of like what we do as a family. I wouldn't say that I missed out on a lot of stuff, but like even on things like over the weekends and
some
like
things you did.
stuff like that. It's like even as simple as like the Santa parades. I haven't been to any of the Santa parades, and Hazley's going to
Well,
be
yeah.
5 this year.
Right.
I haven't been to
have.
one. You've
Yeah,
been to
all
all
of
of them.
them.
She's been front row.
Yeah.
Little things like that. I think that working in the food industry is a lot different than like being able to help you build the business. Yeah,
service industry is much different.
it's a lot different.
My stuff is more more freedom, I mean, more freedom and more of me be able to do kind of like my thing, and,
Right.
and as much as I want, or some days a little bit less,
Yeah.
so I always push myself. Well, you know how everything is. So my dreams are always spending time with the family,
Right.
and growing us, and putting them in the kids out in the world as good people.
Yeah.
And that's my big dream, bringing you guys with me, business, with
Mhm.
business and doing all that stuff. That's just a position that, as a man, I want to put us all in,
Right.
Especially taking care of you and making sure you're okay.
Yep.
And that our roles are compatible and we
Mhm.
do good together.
Right.
So
Well, we both have different roles in life, and I think that that's where a lot of things get messed up with people's relationships and stuff. Is they forget that, like, yeah, your husband's not at home; he's working a lot, but he's also helping providing for your family
right.
while you take care of the kids.
People
At certain
and
points,
people get mixed up in all kinds
Right.
of negative moods.
Exactly.
And
It's
how
just like
how they're gonna like what people don't dream anymore.
no, they
They
don't.
dream small and they think that the dreaming big isn't
Isn't a thing.
obtainable because they've been taught, basically taught a
That
lot
it's
of
not.
it's not attainable, and it is.
Like-
You can do it takes a lot, but the freedom and the dream comes true when you want to put in the work.
Yep.
and not make excuses why you can't put in
Right,
the
and
work.
you have to put in the work to get the results. You
Yeah.
have to be patient.
So, well, I think we had a really good episode, with, I think, taking from all this is time spent with the family is the most important,
Yes.
and together.
Together, yep.
Us as a family as a whole, and us as a couple, together, married, going through this crazy world, of how the world's
All the
crazy
different
right
changes
now,
that we've
everything
gone
that
through.
happens and what goes on in life, staying true to the time that you spend. Time's everything. So
Can't get it back.
but I would just say, I guess we could probably end the episode here. But I think the biggest takeaway from everything is, through all the changes, like loss, new beginnings, and, everything that we've learned about ourselves, and about our family, we kind of understand what really matters.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm glad that we're there and we don't get caught up in the commotion.
Yep.
And I truly believe we're onto something big, and I think this is just one of the ways that we can show it.
Yep.
So
This is just the beginning.
Thank you for being on my podcast. A perfect, most beautiful guest I'll ever have on my show.
Okay.
Maybe other than Hazley.
Oh, yeah,
she might get look good in this light.
yeah.
But other than that, thank you for being here.
It's
And
been a
thank you
pleasure.
for talking, and this is fun.
This
I
was
like
great.
this. So, well, thank you guys. This is the end of the episode. I want everybody to think a little bit about the time that you spend and the time that you have wasted. This is a big thing for us. This is what we've talked about, this, the whole conversation. And I just want everybody to take a little bit more care, compassion, and really think about time, because time isn't guaranteed, and the time that you think that you might have, or even to like fix relationship, you might not have that time. So live life like that, in that mindset, and I think a lot will change. And I think people will really wake up and see that the only thing that they're wasting is the same thing that's passing them by, and it's time.
Yes.
So, all right, guys, thanks for watching the episode, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.
Always watch your back.